Welcome to the Old-Fashioned Three. They've been around basketball from the Big Dipper to the Greek Freak, from Russell Celtics to Courage Warriors, from Peach Baskets to Paolo Banchero. Here are Whitey Gleason, Phantom, and Jerry Reynolds.
Yes, that was that cat, all right.
Yeah, Phantom and Jerry just breaking down that play for the umpteenth time. Jim Peterson. It wasn't even backdoored. Wasn't he front doored on that play? It was kind of
front door, side door.
Nice weak side defense.
I think looking back, really should have called a regular timeout.
Yeah,
it probably would take more time to straighten that out.
You thought you'd explain to him in 20 what hasn't taken his lifetime to learn?
Yeah. Good point there.
Yeah.
Listen, Jared, congratulations on your Kansas City Chiefs
winning
the what I call the Super Bowl. That had to be a big thrill for you. I didn't know if you'd be feeling up coming in today after the celebration.
Well, I stopped celebrating at 9:30 every night.
That's good. Okay, so that fit right
really
in.
Nothing past that. Same way with the Kings beating the Mavericks in overtime. About 9:30, the joy.
Time to gear down.
I have to start gearing down.
But
yeah, I was really pleased. My son, he had an edict that I couldn't watch the game with him because of the last time the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl. I was with him. They lost. So this time they won. So now I can't go if they get there again because they won and I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I have to celebrate and watch it on my own.
Oh well, as long as they win.
Yeah,
some would say that's a blessing.
Some
families is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I'd say most time it is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. What was thinking at halftime, Phantom?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't spend the whole halftime going, is she pregnant? What's going on? Why are they lifting her up in the air if she's pregnant? I don't get it. That's about all we did.
Oh. I thought she had a baby. She's pregnant or
she's pregnant again.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes, she had a baby. That was the whole discussion. Was that just baby weight? No, it's been 9 months. I don't know. Why is she up in the air if she's pregnant? That's the whole halftime right there.
I know 2 Rihanna songs. I know The Umbrella
That's one.
and Diamonds or Diamond in the Sky. So I was talking to somebody during the halftime, and I wasn't paying attention to the halftime show. And then everyone's watching, and I'm watching. And so I asked, did she do Umbrella or Diamonds? And that's the next 2 songs she did.
Yeah.
And so people were going, wow, you know a lot of Rihanna songs. Like, yeah. Those are the only 2 ones I knew. They just so happened when I said that they played them
pretty
back
hip
to
crowd
back.
you're watching the game with. Oh, that white knows it's Rihanna.
Some of these younger people say, you know you're Rihanna.
Yeah, pretty much do.
But here's the question, Fam, and Jerry. Well, a controversial defensive holding towards the end of the game. So that gets us back to a question that relates to basketball too. Is a foul, or does it depend on when it happens? Whether it's the Super Bowl or late in a big basketball game, is like, foul's a foul, or it's a foul, but sometimes you let it go depending on the circumstance.
It's the whole, if you hack a guy but the whistle doesn't blow, is it still a foul? It's very philosophical. It's not.
If they don't call it,
If
it's
they
not
don't
a
call
foul.
it, it's not a foul. And if they do call it, it's a foul. Everybody. I was watching the game. There's like half a dozen. Just if you're not going to call it, don't let them play for 3 quarters and 13 minutes or whatever, and then make that call. If you're going to call that, it looked like even Bradbury said I grabbed him.
Yeah.
So if you're going to let that go though for the first 3.5 quarters, then you got to let it go. But if you're going to call it the whole game, then you call it the whole game. You can't make it a foul when it hasn't been a foul for the first 3 quarters.
I agree with Phantom. I mean, and Bradbury said I grabbed him. Now, I didn't think they should have called it, and I didn't see it. But when the guy that is called on says that, I got a bigger issue with the whole thing. It's like, now here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Mark
Here
was
we
down
go.
on the tape.
Here
Stones.
we
Here we
go.
go. Turn on the camera.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
All right. Then, they make that call, automatic first down. That's too big a penalty.
Interesting.
Basically, spotted the foul, call it, there's the ball. Well, it may be, I think the NFL's got it all wrong. In other words, they should be more like the college game. Say an interference on a 30 yards down the field, it's 15
It's
yards.
15 yards. I'm with you all the way. on that, Joe.
I
I just
punitive.
With the other way.
especially with how they officiated. It's so impossible to tell sometimes. So it's such a penalty, more than it should be.
Yeah, I
That's why
find myself getting frustrated when there's a stop in football, no matter who I'm rooting for, who I want to win, and then, okay, they got a punt, and no, holding, it's a minor defensive holding penalty, automatic first down. I'm with you. Now, in that case, if you're the official and you see that, you got to call it.
That's your
because it is
job.
a Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think you saw holding.
Yeah, so I understand that. And he did. He held him. And you can't, can't say, well, it was uncatchable because that's not that penalty.
No,
If it's
it's
pass
not.
interference, you can pick it up.
Then you
so
can.
you have to call it. But it's something about the nature of the game now. It's so hard to get stops. And when you see a team get a stop, and it's like 3rd and 12 or something, it's like, defensive holding, automatic first down.
Yeah, 5-yard penalty gives you an automatic first down. And to put it into basketball terms, it's frustrating when you see a guy drive the lane in the first 3 quarters and there's some contact and they call and put him at the free throw line. Then he drives the lane at the end of the game, and all of a sudden you look at the replay. This guy's getting punched in the solar plexus and everything, and that's not a foul because of the where you are in the game. And I think that's when it shouldn't be that. If it's a foul the whole game, it's got to be a foul at the end of the game.
Well, that's what me. I mean, they always saying, well, you can't call that now. Well, if you called it earlier, you can call it now.
That's why you have rules.
That's exactly right.
interesting.
Don't
That's
let the
interesting,
guys
yeah.
call their own then, just like it's on the playground.
love to see that.
One last thing about the Super Bowl, and I'll get off this. The thing I hate, and they've allowed now in the rules, is to push like quarterback sneaks.
We had a fun time with that, Jerry.
I mean,
my
they
gosh.
didn't.
You do it on the offense, and I'm telling you, the defense should do the same thing. They should just push them from the other side, and hey, let's just make a mockery of the whole thing until they change the rule.
I mean, that's rugby. This is, football's football. And for decades you couldn't do
You could
that.
not push a guy, no.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
you wanna
get
go
rid
back
of
to
that.
that?
Well, why did
Get rid of that.
Why did they all of a sudden decide? Okay, now you can push him again. Well, it leads to that, and that's just ludicrous. What's going on there?
Oh,
and
yeah.
you can tell they're going to do it. And now they're going to have guys on defense. You're going to cheap. All you need to do is jump over the pile, try to find the quarterback, and punch him and get the ball out of his hands because he's never down. So
Yeah.
just go after it.
How about this rule? This is one I know Phantom likes this story, and I don't remember the particulars, but it was way, way back when, before we had the rules that we have now in football. And I think it was a college game. I don't even know if they had pro football then. And they had a player, and he had a handle sewn onto his jersey.
Oh, yeah, where they'd throw him.
And then his
Yeah.
teammates would
I love
take
that.
him and
Yeah.
throw him
Yeah.
over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. No, that back in the, 30s or 40s.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, when Phantom was playing, I
Right.
mean,
Sure.
Who do you think came up with the thing? How do we get this guy over there? Well,
Yeah,
let's pick him
let's
up.
just-
How do
and
we
throw
move
him.
stuff in the factory?
Well,
Because
if
we
you-
all work in the factory and our other jobs. So we just throw him over the top. And then
Yeah.
it turned into
Well, it
a
makes
thing, and then you can't do it anymore.
It makes
but
as much sense as pushing.
Yeah.
I think it makes more. 'Cause
And
Yeah,
he
actually.
probably,
I'd love
the
to see
guy
that.
probably loved it, right?
Woo!
loved
He
it.
went woo when he went through the air.
Well, I mean, to be like in Major League Baseball when they'd have the midget or
Eddie Goodell.
Eddie Goodell,
or
yeah,
little,
yeah. Hey,
And
I
because
just
he
say
had no
small
strike
stri-
zone. Yeah.
Don't say midget, Jerry. Just small strike zone.
Small strike
small
zone.
strike. Yeah.
Tiny strike
Tiny
zone.
strike zone.
And,
Minuscule.
Yeah, and they gave him a little bat, and the legend has it that he was up there. He was.
Oh, he wanted to swing. Yeah,
and Bill
he's a-
Veeck, the owner, was like, "No, you cannot swing." And Eddie Goodell's like, I don't know how to talk.
You were going to do the munchkin.
No, it's kind of like that.
No,
yeah.
it was. Yeah, who was pitching? The Wicked Wisp?
Yellow brick background. But
I want to swing, coach. I want to swing. No. You
You are
cannot
not to swing.
You're only this tall.
You only have a miniature bat. So, yeah. That's your bat. Yeah.
He walked.
Anyway, the Chiefs have won the Super Bowl. Now we can focus on basketball,
Finally,
except that we got the stinking All-Star break coming up. I know we're not there yet. They get a week off now.
Yeah. Oh, those guys
So
get a week
finally-
off during their working season.
Yeah.
Oh, Jerry, come on.
Well, there again, I have something to say about that, which surprises nobody.
Not even, no, not.
Is this a
anybody.
Reynolds rant?
It could be.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
well,
Yeah.
here's
Hey,
the
Stones,
thing.
wait till he starts, and if it sounds like one, start the music
Well,
then.
no. Well, it's going to be a little bit one because, when I coached or when I first started following the league, basically it was about half the way through the season.
Yeah,
The All-Star
it was
game.
there was a mid-season
It
break.
was a mid-season
actually
break.
mid-season, yeah.
Now it's 3/4 of this way through. Teams have played 60 games
Yep.
for the most part, or will have played 60 games, and you're having an all-star game. So there's just a tiny bit of the schedule left. Now it's very important. But, okay, and I know why they do it or why they've allowed it to happen, because the Super Bowl keeps getting moved back, and they're afraid, and they can't compete with the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
No.
So my thought, and I'd appreciate your input
Are
here.
you sure you would?
Not sure.
He looked at you, not at me. Okay.
Why not have it in the week that before the Super Bowl? There's nothing going
How
on.
great of an idea is that?
Jeez.
Well, there is the Pro Bowl, but I mean, we can
Well,
work
that's
around
what
it.
I said.
We can work around that.
Nothing going on. That's what I said.
That's me,
Not a
Jerry.
single thing.
I already approved the idea.
And you'd have a worthless Pro Bowl and
Yeah.
a worthless All-Star
Because
game.
arguably, when you're that close to the end of the season, the people that are most important in that last stretch are the people who are going to be playing in the All-Star break, who need the time off, and they're
need-
going to be playing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really do any good that way either. I love this
I
idea.
think that makes a ton of sense, doesn't
love
it?
this
Because it
idea.
also means that when you have your break is when everyone's focused on the Super Bowl
Right.
anyway.
Yes.
However, now if I were going to argue against that, and I'm not, but if I were, I would say, look at the trade deadline last week. The trade deadline, NBA trade deadline, stole all the headlines from the Super Bowl.
All right, well, just steal it more then by putting your All-Star game in there and have people in the All-Star game being traded as they play in
But
the
I do
All-Star
see
game.
what you mean there. That does seem to make a lot of sense.
Well, and I think that, yes, if the trade deadline had a little pizzazz, you could actually move that up if you want to.
Sure.
And you
A
could do
couple of
whatever you
weeks.
wanted
I
to.
mean, maybe the trade deadline should be middle way through the season,
yeah.
which you could certainly have.
Yeah, but you're right, because now it's like,
I mean, really, Commissioner Silver, you just simply got to resign and put me in charge.
He
of this
never
league.
calls you or anything. And
He
you
doesn't.
ask him all the time, call me now, because
Call
you have
me.
so many great ideas.
I can save this league.
yeah,
You
we
could.
got, okay, football's done now. Here we go. Now we're going to take a week off. What?
Oh,
No.
man. Okay,
You're
calm
right.
down.
You're right.
Calm
Yeah.
down.
Anyway,
A week
Yeah.
off for our showcase game with our three-point
It's a
contest
disaster.
and our rising stars
The All-Star
and our
game-
slam dunk.
The NBA All-Star game is a joke. They don't even really play. It's not even basketball.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't play basketball.
they do
anymore.
not compete.
Yeah.
And I choose not to watch because unless they're going to, because sadly, and this is sad, I'm old enough to remember when they did compete in the All-Star game, took it serious. It was a great game. The best players kind of played
Yeah,
the most.
they all played because they had a lot of
It's
kind
kind of like the
yeah.
Major League Baseball All-Star game when it was really something. And to me, it's like until you get back to that, I have no interest.
No, they're not actually playing basketball. If you're
Right.
not interested in guarding somebody, that's fine. Whatever you're doing is kind of fun. It's just not basketball.
No,
So-
I'm glad to see De'Aaron and Sabonis make the All-Stars, but because they deserve it. But that has nothing to do with the game.
Right. He's right, Phantom. He's right.
Absolutely right.
And I'll tell you another thing.
No, he's on. Is this your
Here's
rant?
what gets
Yeah.
me. Yeah, this is driving me crazy. How many
boy.
times do you see this where there's 30 seconds left in the end of a quarter in any NBA game?
yeah.
Okay, 30 seconds in the quarter.
Yeah,
Got
30
it.
seconds left at the end of a quarter.
Okay, 30
and whoever has the ball, and they notice 30 seconds left. Oh, so it's 24 seconds shot clock, blah, blah, blah. So then someone will dribble in the general direction of the sideline, heave the ball in the general direction of the basket, miss, and then be like, yep, 2 for 1.
Wow.
What is the benefit of a
Wow.
2 for 1 if you're
If you
giving one of the
give away the
possessions
one?
away, Jerry?
Yeah.
And it seems to me I'm seeing that more and more and more. And, okay, the people who do it think they're smart because, 2 for 1, but it's stupid if you're giving one of the ones away. What are you gaining?
And in your scenario, with 30 seconds, if you're shooting with 30 seconds, even if you get it back, you're going to have 5 seconds left. So you're not even getting a good shot.
Well,
on that.
whenever it's that.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if you do it like 38, I can understand
Well, that was
maybe.
my rule.
Yeah.
30 over 35,
Yeah.
and usually 37, 38. that's worth a 2-for-1 on the basis of you come down and run your offense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Two for one good shots.
2-for-1.
Theoretically, yeah.
You know, if you can get a good shot and within 10, 12 seconds, you take it. And then, of course, then you legitimately have a 2-for-1.
Yes.
As opposed to trash and then
trash for one. Yeah.
Trash in one.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's the mental. But that's easy. You should be able to figure. You should have figured that out when you were in 8th grade. Maybe not 8th grade, but when there's a shot clock, you can figure out the 2-for-1s. You should have that down, and they should have a rule like Jerry had.
They have
Just
that
tell
part
the
of
team,
it figured out.
Listen, buddy. If it's less than 30 seconds, we're not going to do a 2-for-1.
Yeah, but they have that part of it figured out. It's just a matter of you got to have it. If you don't run your offense or get a good possession, then none of the rest of
make
it.
sense.
Well, here's another part
of
it
doesn't matter if one of them is, like you guys say, trash.
Here's another part that I think it really bothers me, maybe equally, not quite. I can't get wrapped up.
Not on his level because he's way up there today.
But there'll be 28, 29 seconds on the clock, and guys, they'll dribble up slow, use the entire most of the clock, and then take a bad shot. And now the other team still got it for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's plenty of time for them to get a good shot.
Yep.
So go down and run your damned offense, get the best shot you can get, whether they have 5 seconds or 10 seconds.
Yes.
You shouldn't be concerned about.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't make sense.
Then the last one, and I'm about getting you got me going now.
Good.
It's like
you want to get Reynolds going.
There's 18 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
And you got the ball.
All right.
Get the last damn shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't take a shot with 12 seconds left in the quarter so the other team can get a shot. Get the last shot.
Yes.
Can I add one little thing to that? Don't
Yes.
stand at the midcourt line for 16 of those seconds and then dribble in and take a 22-footer and go, we got the last shot, so no problem there. I don't want to see that, Jerry. That gets me going. Come on. Work your offense. Like you said, work it. Do you have
the last
seconds?
good
Work
shot.
it in there. Exactly. You don't take a 22-footer and go, well, they didn't get a shot. Team player.
There was a play this year. The Warriors are playing Charlotte, and this was when Steph I think he was out with his shoulder thing. And there's like 15 seconds left in the half, and I think the Warriors are up 1. And Jordan Poole has the ball, and he tries to draw a foul on the baseline and throws up a really bad shot. He didn't get the call, and Charlotte goes down and scores and takes the lead at halftime. It's like, what in the world are you doing? I thought Steve Kerr was just going to kill him.
But what did Steve Kerr do? Did you see what he did? Because I'm wondering now if there's a situation where we don't like to criticize our guys because we don't,
I don't think it became an issue because they ended up winning the game and it was at halftime. Yeah. So, you don't really have to go. And it's easy if someone does say, well, it worked out. We won the game. But
that's what I'm saying,
he was not. You could see on his face, like, what in the world was that?
But if you don't say something that time and you want to go back off and you win the game, the next time it happens, you can't. Well, last time you let me do it didn't matter. So
well, you would hope that at halftime there was words exchanged.
Yes.
Now I understand covering as a coach. Boy, so and so, what I want. He did,
coach
probably
speak, you have to do that.
What a competitor,
coach speak, as opposed to. You idiot!
Can that be coach speak just for one game?
Well, I mean,
can we mic you up and you can go coach a game
in the locker room? There's things can and should be said.
Yes, and sometimes they spill over. Like later in the year when Steve Kerr was yelling at Jordan Poole and said, "Jordan," and you can use up, "Jordan, lock the F in." So it does spill over sometimes.
Yes.
Now, what did you think? What did you guys think as a longtime, more traditional fans? Was it McKinnon? And he has a chance to score a touchdown yesterday, and he slides because he doesn't want to score because they want to run the clock down.
That's the accepted way to do it now. Mm-hmm. I used to be a guy who would say, if you could score a touchdown, it probably wouldn't hurt if you score a touchdown.
Right.
Because if you have a touchdown in the situation, and your kicker's already missed one, and there's so much that could happen.
Touchdown helps you there.
And as people pointed out, everybody's slipping on the field. What if your kicker falls down? They did on a kickoff, so you don't know. So, I understand it, and that's the accepted way to play football now. But, man, again, we were watching the game when Jim Brown was playing. Jim Brown ain't sliding down. No. Jim Brown's going to the end zone. All right?
You're right.
That's all I'm saying. I wanted the touchdown.
I was kind of in the – and I know that's the strategy, and it did work, fortunately for them.
Worked out.
He missed another – he could have missed a field goal. That's not a sure thing.
No. You could mess up the snap or whatever. You never know.
But I thought maybe just run a couple of plays and get the clock down. Then if you can score a touchdown, score it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're up, up 7 or whatever,
right.
and they've got a minute or less than a minute to go But
I know they were close, but I didn't like it. The next play, Mahomes took it and backed up
Backed
like 4
up.
yards. I'm like, dude, I can understand staying there, but don't run backwards. Your
Yeah.
kicker's got to make that.
I understand the strategy too. Everybody understands the strategy, but I was hoping that he would miss the field goal just
Yes.
to put a dent in that strategy.
Yeah.
So next time, whenever it happens, because what an for you, it's your team. So yeah, it's great they won, but otherwise, an underwhelming finish to a game that was back and forth.
Right.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
Okay.
fun.
Yeah.
More exciting if the other
I'm
team
with
had a
you.
chance.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's like I understand to a degree, but it's like, boy, I'm like with Phantom. A touchdown's pretty important.
Yeah, and like I said, now the end of the game is kind of it's that penalty that really stands out at the end of the game, and not the game-winning
Not
play.
the game.
Yeah. Hey, the Kings, though, as you said, big win over the Mavericks. They needed that one, didn't they? Because they'd lost the first game, and then Luka and Kyrie playing together, and the Kings got them. The Kings
Yeah,
took
they
'em.
did. I
Yeah.
thought that was maybe as good a game as I've seen the Kings play in years.
Wow.
I thought there was real playoff atmosphere.
Yes.
I think the Mavericks are clearly an improved team, even though Luka wore down. You could see in the late second half and overtime, he looked like he was a hurting puppy. He looked like me out at the end of my walks or something. Where
That last half mile was
yeah,
tough,
there
isn't it,
wasn't
Jared?
enough
Oh,
oxygen
man.
in the building to
I'm
get
just
it into him.
Clutching your chest, stuff like that.
But I mean, it's two good teams playing well. Came down to a break or two, shot or two. Fox was fabulous.
Yes, once
he
again.
really was. I mean, he was all-star by any stretch. He was the best player on the floor. And when you're the best player on the floor and Luka and Kyrie's on the floor, that says
Saying
something.
a lot. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Luka and Kyrie are 0-1.
Yeah.
Kyrie was 2-0 before Luka came back.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
How about
Yeah.
this?
You're looking
Venom?
to make a move.
It's 18 seconds left in overtime, and the Kings are up 3. Dallas has the ball, side out of bounds. Okay, they're down 3, 18
Okay.
seconds to go.
Okay.
If you get a quick 3, it seems to me, you take an open 3, but you don't need one there.
No,
so
not
instead,
at all. Not with 18 seconds.
And I'd love to know what the actual coach thinks of this. I'm thinking, okay, if you can get something quick to the basket, great, play the foul game. If you get an open 3, you take it. Said they got it to Luka, and he takes a forced 3 with Fox right. It was back to the basket, a step back 3 misses. Like, okay, you're going to lose. I thought that, Jerry, I thought
Well,
that was
what can the
dumb.
coach say to him?
well,
you can't say that
you
Luka
can't say
don't
no.
do that.
Well, they had to have something.
no,
called
I
and
agree
decide on
with
in
you,
the
but in the
timeout.
situation we're in,
Yeah, I thought it was a terrible play by Luka, and I kind of think it goes back to what I was saying just a while ago. I think he's so tired he wanted to get it over with.
One way or the
He couldn't
other.
go any
I really do.
further.
I thought, here's a guy that sure don't want to go to double overtime.
Maybe so. Yeah.
And the Kings in regulation had a bad play. I thought,
End of
I think
regulation?
Yeah.
If Fox
Fox,
had instead of calling timeout maybe, or making sure you get a good shot, that was really a hoper.
Yeah.
or like you say, go to the basket.
yeah.
Don't settle. Yeah.
And De'Aaron had been drawing fouls
Yeah.
pretty regular.
Have you ever seen anybody, you probably have, who can get to a spot like just inside the foul line with the game on the line the way he does this year?
I have.
Yeah.
It goes back, and I was telling somebody, if you wanted to compare Fox to any king of the past, Tiny Archibald in his prime, boy, that's what he could do. Man, he could get to his spots, whether to the basket, much like Fox, where big guys didn't bother him. He'd draw fouls or so quick. That's the 30 points, 15 assists kind of Tiny Archibald. Was just, and Fox has a lot of that. Like you say, my goodness, he can get to his spots
Every single time.
Well, and you kind of understand it when I always said with Tiny, the more you watched him, you understood. It's like defensively, it's like these guys say, oh, we got to give him 10-footer. They're backing up to keep him from getting layups. And the same thing with Fox. He's so quick and fast. They're backing up saying, okay, you can have that, even though we know you're going to make most of them, but we know you're going to make layups or dunk on our head. And so I think, anyway. And
it's remarkable.
Tiny, people, when I say Tiny Archibald, they think in terms of how he finished his career with Boston, where he helped him win a championship, and he was a good player, but he was a great player for a 3 or 4 year period. The year he 34 points and 14 assists, led the league in both categories. So I'm putting Fox. Some people say, well, you're putting Fox. No, I'm putting him in high Very high caliber, and he's not quite tiny yet. Don't get me wrong; he is not tiny yet.
But in that very important
But
regard,
in that regard, he is.
And even more impressive with Tiny is he's a little smaller than Fox, right?
Yeah.
And the rules were different, so they could do a lot more to Tiny Archibald than they can to De'Aaron Fox, and he still was able to get to his spots.
You could beat a guy up.
you could shoot a guy if it was
could-
below the
well, it was.
But
you
you
could not in his shooting hand. You could do the other.
No.
yeah.
But the Tiny's a lot like Fox. You could beat him up if you could catch him.
yeah,
And
that
then
wasn't
you
easy.
couldn't catch
Yeah.
him, so that's that. Anyway,
Is this an encouraging sign for the Kings, Mr. Basketball and Jerry? We've talked about how much they've relied on the 3-point shooting. In that game against the Mavs, the second game of the back-to-back, the Kings only made 8 of 32. But points in the paint, you had Mavericks 46, Kings 74.
Yeah. I mean, so efficient, as you say. I mean, a lot of that's Fox getting to the paint.
Right.
I mean, you think in terms of points to paint sometimes.
yeah.
It
It's
really
not always that.
It isn't that.
And
but-
transition points also are
and
points in the paint,
transition
right?
points,
Yeah.
point to paint.
Yeah, but
It's-
I'm going to need better than 8 for 32. 'Cause
Yeah,
remember,
yeah.
I'm Mr. Point. I got to accumulate points.
Yeah, you do.
If I'm going to get 32 3-point shots, I got to make more than 8 of them. So I mean, that actually concerns me the other way. I got to
bit.
see more than that. Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't shoot more.
Yeah, well, it's better than.
But I mean,
than
I
8
mean-
for 39. Yeah, but 8 for 32, I can't have that.
Yeah.
32 by today's NBA standards is not that
It's
high
not
of a
that
number.
many,
Huh? It's
no,
like,
for-
oh my.
Well, they're so efficient in the paint. Well,
Yeah.
maybe we don't go
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
We only missed 24 of them. That's enough.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good point. And boy, I thought Terrence Davis was such a huge factor, not just defensively on Luka as much as he was offense. And certainly they would not, if Terrence Davis don't play big minutes, they don't win that game.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. This is an old NBA cliche. If there's any truth to it, you certainly would know. And you are Mr. Basketball. You might have heard about it.
I might have heard about it.
The first half of the Kings game Friday against Dallas, the first of the back-to-backs, and the Kings were terrible. And it reminded me of that old saying that, well, after a long road trip, your first home game is like an extension of the road trip. It sure looked that way. How true is that saying?
Well, I'd like to say it makes no sense, except it does. I mean, I've seen it for years and years and years and years. And I mean, not the Kings, and I mean, Kings fans always see it one way. Every team in the league, I mean, I've seen it. And I think there is something to it. You know, that guys come off a road trip.
There's a little bit of a relaxation.
Kind of
exhale.
relaxation. You go home, a bunch of honeydews or
you got to mow the lawn,
or you
got to go to the bank,
or a little bitching, just in general.
enough.
I mean, so I think there is some, well, I know there is because I've seen it 1,000 times.
Yeah, you're back home and you exhale a little bit, and then you're playing, and next thing you know, we're getting our asses kicked.
Yeah. And that's what we were talking about
they did.
before the
Yeah,
show.
exactly.
It's like they were just awful that first quarter. Well, the truth is, the next 3 they outplayed the Mavericks. Now that wasn't enough to make up, as Phantom pointed out.
I was just asking. I was just
yeah,
curious.
well,
yeah.
you're correct. It doesn't make up for it, but it's also you can't discount it either. And then they basically, in effect, won the next 4
How
quarters.
fortunate they played the same team the next night.
The next night.
Which
I thought was
happens. I thought that worked out well for the Kings.
And I don't think anybody was surprised. I wasn't that the Kings came out and played much better in the next night. I mean, it's the NBA, and you're playing the same team.
And that team right behind us, a huge win,
Huge win.
in my
It really
humble
was.
opinion.
Well, the thing is, and Jerry, you've been talking about this all year as far as teams that have how many road games they have left.
Yeah.
And you talked about the Nuggets. Now the Nuggets have flipped it the other way. They have more home games. But the first 3 teams in the West have 27 road games, and the next 3 have 30 or more, especially the Clippers have already played 32. And they have 1 more this week, so they'll have 8 road games after the All-Star break, and they're only a game and a half, 2 games behind the Kings. With the Clippers, it's hard to say what kind of home court advantage they have, but still, I mean, that's something you got to look at. The teams that are chasing the Kings have many more home games coming up than the Kings do.
Yeah, no, the Clippers for sure. I was looking at that, and I forgot to check, do they play the Lakers during that stretch? Because if they do,
They have 9. Oh, yeah, because that's the
you know,
same thing.
because
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
play be a
Yeah.
Laker game, but it's a home
Yeah.
game, and that sort of thing. So they could even have more.
Yeah.
But I think they're a real threat, no
Agreed.
question, to move up. I mean, and to me, they're more of a threat to the Kings to get the 3rd spot than anybody else. But it's also true. I think the Pelicans, with Zion out again, I think
Yeah,
you
that
can.
was sad to see.
But Ingram's back.
Ingram's back, but I mean, I just don't see how they move up I just look at it selfishly from the Kings' point of view.
Sure.
Can they catch the Kings? I don't think they can without Zion. That's all.
Yeah, he's down for a couple more weeks at least.
They were good last year in the playoffs without him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I'm saying.
And the
They were
Suns,
good without him
are
last
right
year.
there, too, because the Suns have played more road games. They have, I think, 2 home games this week, and then Durant comes back after the break at some point. So those teams are really poised to try to come after the Kings.
Suns and Kings are coming up.
That's right. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah. Here's maybe one of the biggest threats to the Clippers. The fact that you've got Paul George and whichever Marcus Morris is on there.
One of the various Morrises.
You've got them going to the front office saying, hey, we got to get Russ. We got to bring Russ back.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Oh.
To me, that's the equivalent of like when one of your players hacks somebody and then comes over to you and says, hey, you got to review that. Sometimes you got to go, no, we're not going to do that, right?
You punch the guy in the face, and then you go, no, you got to look at that again.
So when they come to you, Jared, and say, we got to get Russ, I think you just go like, no, we're just not going to do that.
No.
I think I might.
Really?
I do.
All right.
Okay.
I kind of think for those guys.
We are off the rails.
I know.
I thought you said last week that you didn't think they'd do that. So it's interesting.
I didn't think they'd do that,
Yeah.
but I could see why they play. I mean, certainly Paul George knows him, has played with him, and if he just plays as well as he was playing after he became off the bench kind of guy. And the other part is the Clippers have no point guard. They have nobody.
Yeah.
And he'll defend. And after clearing waivers or whatever, or being bought out, whatever it takes, you just would kind of think, even Russ with all of his fake views of things, of his own skills, you think, boy, I want to show the Lakers. Mm-hmm. I want to show the league. I can, here again, it's kind of like Kyrie. I wouldn't be scared of Russ for the last 20-some games. I really wouldn't.
It's interesting.
I sure wouldn't want to re-sign him, but just like Kyrie, as you can see, Kyrie's going to play terrific. And
he's motivated
and
too.
He and Luka,
Friday night he did such a good job distributing and playing point guard.
Yeah. No, I think that's going to work to where they're better. I'm not saying they're, I don't know how good they're going to be, but they're going to be nobody's going to want to play them because you got 2 guys who can go for 30 every night and nothing you can do about it. But but anyway, with Russ, with that team, I think it's different because, with playing with LeBron is different than playing with anybody else. That's all I'd say.
Yeah. I wouldn't trust him. He's so stubborn. That's the one thing to me. Like you say, he has maybe a distorted view of how good he is. To me, he's just so stubborn. I would just fear that there's going to be a key situation where we're going to have him on the floor and he's just going to make a bad decision because he just thinks he can. Yeah. So that's why I would steer clear. But I understand your point. Mr. Basketball, you're breaking the tie for the Clippers.
Like he did out against Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago when he just took the ball in from the left side and just tried to do it all himself.
Yeah.
I think it's very difficult to take Russ and the things that make him Russ make it hard for him to be the 3rd guy or the 4th guy. Now, you say, Jerry, he was doing a good job off the bench for the Lakers. I don't know that he would come off the bench for the Clippers, like you say. Maybe he'd be a starter, and I think it's very difficult for him to sublimate that the whole game and be that 3rd wheel, if you will. Mm-hmm. I just think it's really tough. In small doses, maybe, but I think if they have to count on him for bigger minutes, I just don't see it working.
Well, no, I think the odds are you guys are right, and the odds are I'm
that's
wrong.
hard to say.
I really just kind of
see that path.
If it
worked, it'd be fantastic to watch.
And
gosh, would it be great to watch.
So, and then, I mean, if it wasn't for the Kings being involved, I'd almost love to see it work because, because just to stick it up the Lakers, rear ends. So you can
kind of fun,
you can see that there's a little bias that I'm wanting to see things that might
You've
not
been very
be
upfront about that.
Yeah.
Now, as somebody who's been involved in some of these transactions, what did you think of the Warrior-Portland deal? And we talked about Friday, right? The fact that, all right, James Wiseman's going to Detroit and the Warriors are getting Gary Payton II. Pardon me. Then it turns out he flunked his physical, so the Warriors think Portland pulled a fast one. We might not make the trade. They decided yesterday officially, we're going to make the trade, but we still want the league to look in to what Portland did, and maybe they didn't divulge all the important information. So they're getting a guy that they don't know when he's going to be able to play for him for James Wiseman. So what do you make of that? One of my first thoughts was, how in the world did Portland think they'd get away with something like that?
Yeah, they didn't pull a fast one if everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I think it does happen now and then. I don't know that Portland thought they were going.
We don't know.
We don't know yet.
We do.
But I mean, I know the Kings going back to the Chuck Hayes days, signed a guy and he was supposed to be healthy coming from Houston, and they found some things and they said he's not. And they, of course, did more tests than he was, and that I think that can happen. I don't know why Portland would be that, crazy about doing. I mean, it's a deal they wanted to do, but it's not like it's a game changer, a team changer.
Doesn't seem worth it.
They got Kevin Knox and 5 picks, second-round picks or whatever.
So come on. I of course, to me, the way I looked at it was, and as we was talking about, it's like, is there anything that would have kept the Warriors from doing it? I mean, if Gary Payton had said, looks like he's going to lose his left leg in a month, I think that it went ahead and did the deal.
It looks,
it gets them out from
did they want to get rid of Wiseman that bad?
I think they were having a hard time. You go back to when supposedly they were talking to the Spurs about, hey, what about, Wiseman for Pirtle way back? And I guess the Spurs how about Moses Moody? We might be interested in him. So I don't think there was much of a market for Wiseman, and considering how much they were going to have to pay to keep him, I don't think they really want to be public with that, but I think you're right. I think that was one of the prime motivators for the Warriors is we want to get him out and we don't have to pay him and we'll move forward in another direction.
The price for the number 2 pick is trading him for a guy with a core injury that may keep him out for 3 more months. The Kings got more than that for Bagley, Jerry, so maybe they know what they're doing, huh?
Well, I think they do, and I mean, there again, I'm not at all sure there wasn't a little bit of that. Detroit saying, we'll give you Trey Lyles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And
Wiseman and Bagley teammates now again.
And that's no redundancy there. No.
And I'm becoming a Lyles fan. I mean, I think it's one of those things to where he's bounced around enough that he maybe has found his niche, and a pretty good niche. Maybe, in my opinion, he needs a bigger niche, but that's for something else maybe. But because I just think he's definitely a better player than Metu, and whatever minutes are there, he should have them.
Also, from the Warriors' standpoint, Gary Payton II was a great feel-good story, and everyone loves him. And so it helps to mitigate some of the bad PR, if you will, of we had the 2nd pick, and he was just we blew it. But we're bringing back Gary. Everybody loves Gary. And there were a lot of people apparently on the team and in the front office that didn't want them to get rid of Gary Payton II in the first place.
But that was money, right?
They've got chemistry issues. Yeah, because they thought the young guys, we're going to give it to the young guys.
Right.
So there's some of that, too. That's why. But an injured guy is maybe about the best they could have gotten for Wiseman.
But they said maybe 3 months before he comes back?
Yeah, and then there's been some sources saying, I don't think it's going to be that long. But we don't really know.
So basically you got a guy who probably won't play. For the number 2 pick in the draft.
Maybe.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Think about your tanking then.
Well, there's a point, right? You tell me there's a point at which whether you're the 1 pick or the 2 pick, if you can't play, it doesn't matter when you were picked.
No, and I think the good franchises, and I've said this for years, as opposed to those that try to make, kid you about their mistakes they made and hang with them too long. Certainly Kings have been guilty of that over the years, and most franchises have been. But I think the better ones, okay, we screwed up. It's kind of like Derek Williams, a former number 2, Stromile Swift, the number 2.
He loved Derek Williams, and I did too.
Well, I thought
he had some games though.
Oh, he
did
at
times. But what he did was, I don't know, maybe too one-dimensional. I mean, he didn't do anything. He was a good scorer, but he really didn't do anything else. I don't know, but I really liked his game.
Well, yeah, I thought
he
had a chance. And I mean, just the fact that he had the nickname Coke Machine because he got the same amount of rebounds as a Coke Machine.
Maybe I wouldn't have drafted him had I known that.
So
I did not know that, Jared. That was not in the scouting report that I saw.
That almost sounds like a cool nickname.
Hey, Coke Machine, what's up? Yeah, I like that. That's awesome.
There was nights Coke Machine could go score. I'll tell you that.
So what if Coke Machine grabbed a rebound?
Well,
did they have everybody on the bench did like what they do when the last guy scores a basket? Whoa!
Well, or like but it happened. Stromile Swift, I think, was the second round.
I know,
number
but
2
he wasn't
pick.
called Coke Machine.
No, he could rebound, couldn't do anything else.
There's the Coke Machine right there.
Yeah, the coconut.
Anyway,
yeah.
So I think to the Warriors' credit, just like the Kings took a year too long, I think the Warriors are a little ahead. If you feel like you've made a mistake, why double down on it?
Yeah, and they ran out of time. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of mitigated too by the fact wasn't Wiseman in the draft where you couldn't really work people out and you didn't really get to scout as much as you usually would.
And he barely played in college.
You can kind of put it a little bit off on that.
Oh, and he still may be good. I mean, I wouldn't put that past. I mean, it may be in a couple of years. He hadn't played.
Yeah,
he's
he
played
just
zero
never
basketball, and but so there's that. I mean, I think it's it'd be like drafting a guy out of high school right now that's played a year of high school.
The one thing I don't think I'll ever understand about that draft is how Halliburton fell as far as he did, because I don't know anything, and I saw it and I was like, I think Halliburton's really good. And you had guys like Obi Toppin going before him.
About number 6 in that draft.
Yeah.
Why aren't you taking Halliburton? He goes all the way down.
Denny Avdia.
Phoenix takes Jalen Smith, I think, or
Yeah, and he's a nice player.
Yeah, but they could really use Halliburton.
Well, it's that way every year. I mean, really, you look at some, Antetokounmpo went 15th. How do you explain that? Mm-hmm. Or Jokic 41st.
Well, in those days, the foreign players, we didn't know too much about them.
Well, they do now, though.
Yeah, and Antetokounmpo grew, 3 inches since he was drafted, too. So that helped him out.
I understand. But nobody knew he was going to be what he is.
Nobody knew.
I'll bet Mr. Basketball had an inkling.
I said, there's
I
a
remember,
Greek kid, I think, that's going to be pretty special.
You're like, or Steve Nash at 15. You said, I know.
I didn't.
Yeah.
That's the greatest story. One of Jerry's best Danny Ainge stories is about when you asked Danny Ainge about, was it KJ and Jason Kidd and Nash?
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, of course, they had more guys than they could play, and Nash wasn't playing much. And I just said, is he ever going to play for you? And he just said, well, at some point, he's too good not to play. And I, what do you mean? And he said, I think he can be better than the other 2 guys.
Oh, man.
And I said, Danny, you're crazy as hell.
You got to watch your language, Jerry.
Well, that's what I said.
I understand how strong you felt
That's
about
what
it.
I said. And Danny, I don't remember he said, I believe that. You'll see in time. And as it turned out, for the 8,000th time, it was me. Not Danny. That was.
Wasn't he like the ultimate guy who came around and then all of a sudden fell into the perfect system that showcased him absolutely the perfect way? No one could have done it any better than him. And maybe if he doesn't fall into that system, he's great, but he's not 2 MVP great.
Absolutely true, Phantom. And there's only one other player I can think of that had it. Hey, of course, it got a break sooner. Was Steph Curry.
Yeah,
got the absolute perfect place to be to exhibit his special talents, that kind of God-given things. And I mean, Nash was going to be good, really good, near all-star caliber if he stays in Dallas, but he became Hall of Fame good with Mike D'Antoni in that offense. And I think Steph Curry, he'd have been really good if he'd went to the Minnesota Timberwolves instead of Johnny Flynn.
With the greatest draft of all time. 2 point guards back-to-back.
But had he done that, I think he'd been an all-star. Would he have been a 2-time Hall of Famer and all that? I don't really believe so.
And the funny twist to that is that the Warriors didn't even know what they had, because I know you've told the stories of the Warriors gave the Bucks, all right, we want Bogut, and then do you want Monte Ellis or you want Steph? Go ahead, you have your pick.
Yeah,
and
of
Bucks
course,
picked wrong.
Well, of course, at that time,
like,
Monte had a better career. He's still young,
big scorer.
Steph Curry looked like he's going to be good, but he's been hurt a lot. Yeah. Can we take that chance? And of course, I've got one story on Bogut. I always remember when the Bucks had the first pick in the draft, and a writer came up to me at that time when we were doing TV and asked me what do you think of Bogut? I said, I think he's going to be good, really good. I said, I think he's got a chance to be as good as Vlade Divac. Which I thought was a compliment.
High compliment, yeah.
And the guy said, oh, my God, if he ain't better than him. I said, well, okay. I mean, I'm serious. It's like,
who was this guy?
I'm trying to think of his name. He writes for, I think, the Racine paper or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah.
But anyway.
The Racine rag.
Big circulation.
But I mean, I think that's what happens with the draft. You just fall in love with guys like, did you watch Bogut? I mean,
yeah.
I think he's going to be good, but why? Are you confusing him with Patrick Ewing or somebody or Hakeem Olajuwon?
Were you watching the right guy?
Would you agree with this? I think Bogut, we never really found out how good he could have been because he had some of those just a series of catastrophic injuries that took a lot. And he was a really solid player and good passer, but he had with the elbow, and he had some terrible injuries. He could have been better than he was, and he was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, he had he stayed healthy, I think he probably could have been a little better than Vlade. But there was a roof.
Vlade was a good player for him, Mr.
Yeah,
Basketball.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, he helped them win championships, no doubt about it. You know, he's tough-minded and could pass.
That's
and,
his thing.
He could really pass, and that was
defend.
Defend. And so, anyway, very good player. Should he have been number one? Probably not. But that you go back through the years, there's a lot of guys.
He wasn't like a whiff. He wasn't a bust.
Oh, no,
or anything.
no. I mean, if the draft were held over, he'd be in the top 5, I'm sure.
Yeah. We want to thank everyone for participating in the poll we had last Friday. We got a lot of responses on Twitter. Of course, you can always reach out to us on Twitter, on chat, YouTube chat. And we were asking what's the one thing you would change in the NBA. And I think we actually have a winner, Phantom.
We do?
I think so. Was it James in San Diego? On Twitter.
What was his contribution?
Well, he just agreed with Jerry, and Jerry said, yeah, I like that.
He agreed with Jerry, and Jerry says that's the winner.
He would get rid of the corner 3, and Jerry said, yep, that's what I do too.
He's obviously very bright. That's true.
Obviously a very smart man.
Smart
absolutely.
man.
If he's in San Diego, he knows where to go. I mean,
Yes,
that's
sir.
a pretty good call right there, too.
Yeah, and what's his Twitter handle?
I do not know.
Okay, I thought you knew the gentleman actually.
I do know of him, but I don't know everybody's Twitter handle.
Yeah, what's his
I
last
don't know
name?
Jerry Allen. I don't know Jerry's Twitter handle.
I think it's James Allen at James.
There you
Allen.
go, James. There you go.
There you go.
Agreeing with Jerry is a good way to win the contest,
Yes.
everybody, and that's the lesson you learned today.
Yes, my ego takes over all.
It's all-encompassing ego.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So Jerry wants the 3-point line to be such that there is no corner 3.
No corner 3. From the kind of the free throw line out, it wouldn't be quite that way. It just goes right out to the sideline, and teams would still shoot 20 to 30.
Do you think there's any support for that? Have you ever heard? I've
think,
heard people say that. Do you think there's actually support?
I think it's growing.
Yeah.
I think
I don't
people
have a
are,
problem with it.
a lot of people are starting to say, do we need to see this 50 times a game, 60 3-pointers? Basically, do we need to see a 3-point shooting
Just
contest?
a shooting contest, yeah.
There was one response, and I apologize for looking here, but I was trying to find it. I think Phantom and I actually liked it, but Jerry did not care for the idea here, and I can't find it. But basically, it was 4 points for the mid-range shot, so that you would discourage teams from shooting so many threes. And
Exactly.
Jerry didn't care for that
It
one.
was 4 points to the mid-range, then you're not going to go shoot the threes, you see.
Then do we
You see.
give 5 points if it's past midcourt?
It's not my idea. I don't want to take the
6
gentleman's
points.
claim. I mean, that's his.
So
you're
you're-
gonna.
hey.
Why are you mocking people that don't agree
Well,
with you?
no,
that's
what I do.
That's pretty rude,
I mean,
really.
I'm-
actually,
I'm-
we already
You
gave
made
the-
a career out of that.
Oh, well, that's true, and look where I am.
Yeah. Well, that should be a concern right there. to
we
me,
should talk
yeah.
about that later. But okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's have a 10-point shot from the other free throw line. That way, if you're down 9
Right.
with 2 minutes to go or a minute to
Yeah.
go, every time you get it, shoot
Yeah.
one of
Well,
those.
if you're down 9 with 5
'Cause
seconds
you got
to
no
go,
chance
you're
of-
still in the game.
Yeah.
You're still in the game. It's a one-possession game.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
I love your idea, Jerry.
Okay, no, it ain't my idea.
I think in Korea, the Korean basketball league, you get an extra point if it's a swish, something like that.
Oh, I love that.
Do you?
But
Yeah,
then
that's-
they go, no, wait a minute. Look at it. I think it was a swish. No, it hit the rim. They got to go.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
I don't want
that'd
to
be
review that.
impossible.
But I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you make the net flip up and go back on top of the rim like we did, that would be an extra point.
I also think you're against the proposed rule, and this is like Kirk Goldsberry is a real basketball writer. He says, hey, why not let every team put their 3-point line wherever they want? And I know you don't like that idea, and it's not my idea. It's not my idea.
I want to see the guy setting up the gym. Okay, where do I put it tonight? Where do I put it tonight? What is that?
Yeah, it'd be one of those things. Okay, some nights you'd have a pretty long one. Next time you and then maybe a lot you could shoot on the right side of the court, but not so many on the
But
left
you would
side.
love it, Jared,
That's
because you'd
it,
have a
that's
lot of
it.
strategy. Okay, if Steph is out, where do we put the line? And you'd have to hire 2 more assistant coaches to figure out where to put
Well,
the
they've
line.
got enough
And you
No.
love that. You say more coaches, more
No,
coaches.
no.
I want 5 rows of coaches behind the bench.
Well, I think they got enough to cover that.
I don't think so. I think you
I
got to have
think-
2 specialists.
I think they got at least a couple.
So a guy that could
fill that
double.
bill.
Okay, very good.
But
So for the record, you're not in favor of that idea.
for the
right?
record, I am not in favor of that.
Nor am I.
I have no. You might as well get the roller ball or something.
Okay.
And be,
And now that you've had a few days to think about it, are you still against, or are you warming up to me and Phantom's idea that if you miss 8 threes in a row, you lose?
God, that's the best idea.
You lose a point.
I have warmed up to it, and it disgusts me.
Even if you've warmed up to it a little, it's still
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he thinks more highly of it now.
Yeah, I'm more highly, and it disgusts me. But
Okay. If we gave you the corner threes taken out, would you give us our rule?
nope.
Negotiating with you is not easy.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, don't confuse me with the facts. My mind's made up.
Okay. Well, this may be tough for us, Phantom. Here with the mood Jerry's in.
Yeah, he's in
because
it.
it's time for
It's a
Comp
Monday.
This.
Yeah.
Jerry gives us a player, and then we are assigned to come up with
That's right.
a past comp, or if it's a past player, a current comp. But I think today we have a current player.
Yep.
We're
Yeah.
assigned to come up with past comps for who's our player today, Jerry?
Mike Conley.
Mike Conley.
Mike Conley. And since
Yeah.
I traded 2 first-round picks, I get to go first again. Even
Yes.
though I was
Yes.
First last
By the way,
time.
Mike Conley, my card of the day. I don't know, you can't even see it.
Our
Mike
card of
Conley,
the day is Mike Conley.
Asia T-Mall Red Variation Crown Royale.
Okay,
Mike Conley.
whatever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Mike Conley, a tremendous choice, Jerry, as always. I came out, of course, with Lenny Wilkins on the last show because I think right away that jumped to me. But you know something? I know I'm allowed to go ahead and make the comps better than the players,
Yeah.
but I wanted to try to pull it back a little.
Can
this
I
time.
object, by the way?
What?
May I?
Yeah.
What the hell is this with it? Lenny Wilkins, Friday.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. No, I'm not. I'm going to say it. And then we start, and then he comes back with, I know last time I said Lenny
I'm
Wilkins.
trying to preface it for people that missed the last show.
Well, what are we doing here? Is Lenny Wilkins in play or not?
I am
here?
putting my case in front of the judge. I don't know why. Why does he get to interject himself into
Because
this
you
process?
started making your case on Friday.
Okay,
So
so,
that's
I
what
work
I
a lot of
object to.
hours. Okay.
But it's the judge's decision here.
I think he has the option of picking whoever he wants to
I
pick.
think this is America.
You know,
It is America, isn't it?
Since
Jimmy?
it is, you're trying to find a comp for Mike Conley.
Thank you, Jerry.
Since-
Thank you, Judge.
And this is the first time we've officially asked for the comp.
Okay.
Right.
The fact that you mentioned a player in the past showed a little bit of lack of recognition of the circumstance, but it's
Guilty as charged, Judge.
Okay.
Anyway,
Withdrawn.
Judge, if I may go quickly, since he's taking up all my time.
We got all-
I
you got
wanted
all the
I
time
wanted
you
a
want.
guy that is, I think, a comparable talent level and achievement level to Mike Conley from the past. And so, I always go through my 60s, 70s, and 80s Rolodex in my mind. And I came up on a guy right away in this one. And this guy is a talented guard. And before I even go there, can we just say Mike Conley Sr. was amazing, too? Can we just say that? The only guy I ever saw do a free throw line dunk where he actually took off behind the free throw line. Incredible. Okay, Mike Conley Jr., I'm just going to – Norm Nixon.
Norm Nixon. Yeah, that's good. Very good.
It is good. Talent.
See, he used it to somebody else. See, so that thing
So,
about
Lenny
Phantom,
Wilkins doesn't count.
I mean,
But if you-
he may take 20 minutes. He'll come around and get where he needs to
Yes,
go.
I feel like I just got home from a 7-game road trip, and now my first home game's like another road game.
First quarter's going to be flat, aren't you?
Don't tell me about your
think
adjustment
I may.
problems, mister. I don't
Yeah.
care about that, all right?
Mike Conley, the thing that's unique about him is that he's such a good shooter. I think he's top 150, all-time three-point shooting. Left-handed, of course, smallish point guard. So I was trying to think of a smaller guy, really good point guard, good shooter. Mike Conley was an all-star one time. I went around and around on this, and I'll save you the trouble. I won't go over, I thought of this guy.
Should have.
Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith was a really good point guard, a really good shooter. He was never an all-star. He was on some good teams. I know he wasn't left-handed. Kenny Smith
okay.
would be my Mike Conley comp.
Kenny Smith, Norm Nixon. Kenny Smith, Norm Nixon.
Mike Conley.
Mike Conley.
He's having to think about it anyway, I think.
I don't.
I was really hoping one of you'd come up with John Lucas, but you just screwed it up.
I can go ahead and do it again.
No,
because
no,
I
I thought of Lionel Hollins. I was thinking Lionel Hollins.
Yeah, that's not
It
bad.
doesn't have to be
Wait,
left-handed. That's
yeah,
what I
that's-
did. I flipped the script. I went right-handed.
Yeah, Lionel Hollins is better than the one you came up with.
Okay.
But,
I like how
Lionel
he
Hollins
always,
couldn't
he
shoot,
always
though.
says that. I love that. Yeah, he won a title too.
yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah,
And,
so did Kenny Smith. So there you go.
and
Norm Nixon certainly did.
Norm Nixon.
Yes.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh.
I think that's a tremendous pull, Jerry, because Kenny Smith is just not on the same level as Norm
No,
Nixon.
he's not.
Next to Mike Conley, I just don't think
He's not on the
like
same
that.
level as Norm
No,
Nixon, but
he's
I'm not comparing him to Norm
No.
Nixon.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. My comparison was better than your comparison because you're not even up to my guy to go to the other guy. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you very
Did you have to
much.
think about that, or were you just being nice?
What?
Jerry?
Oh,
Well, Yeah, I think I was being a little nice because I wasn't really. I think you guys really went to sleep on this one.
Fair enough.
I really disappointed in your efforts. But
If I'd have said,
if this had been a class, I might have had to give you extra homework or something.
if I'd have said Lenny Wilkins, would I have won?
Yeah, I didn't give you Lenny.
If I'd have said Lenny Wilkins, he would have said, what were you going to say? Lionel Hollins.
Lionel
You know who I think would have been the perfect one, although his career wouldn't have been. But I always said the last 3 or 4 or 5 years of Tiny Archibald's career when he's with Boston.
Boy,
That's my comment.
But I couldn't have said Tiny Archibald, Jerry, because I'm putting his whole career out there.
I know,
The guy's a
I know.
Hall of Famer. He's
But
yeah.
Well, you could, but
But you
Yeah.
never know with Judge Jerry. Where on a Monday he
'Cause if
rules
you-
differently than
no,
Saturday.
I mean, if
Never
you'd have
know,
said,
Judge Jerry.
I'm trying to find a comp player. Well, this period of time.
Jerry, I can't be breaking away
Yeah,
periods of time.
yeah,
from
no,
football.
that's
I
good.
barely do what I'm
All right.
supposed to do.
Well done,
I
Your
barely
Honor.
do this,
Yeah.
as you know.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, I appreciate it.
What do we have? What do you have for us next time?
Don Boozy,
Wow. Don Boozy. who
B
was
O O Z Y.
Buse,
Okay.
Boozy. Don
I
Boozy.
could give you a couple of
I'm
BOs.
going Emerson Boozer because it sounds like Don Boozy.
No, he
but
was
I-
a.
Give him his win.
He was a Hall of Famer, not Hall of Famer.
He's not.
He
a
was
Hall
an All-Star with
Yeah.
the Indiana Pacers. He was an All-Star with the Phoenix Suns.
That's-
He finished his career with the Sacramento Kings.
So we're doing our current.
that's a really
comp,
good one.
Current player.
Current player that's a comp
Wow.
to Don Boozy.
And I'm way. I think I'm down now 4-2.
I think it's 5-2, but who's keeping score, right?
Well,
Yeah.
that's why I asked.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, you're in a hole, aren't you?
I am. That's what I was trying to clarify. Yeah, you're right, Fennel. Yeah, way behind. I
Well,
got
that's
no
okay.
chance.
All right.
Yeah,
It's
All
a,
right.
it's a long season.
Well, what's really sad here, to me,
Oh boy, this is the judge. When the judge gets on one of these,
I
it's
mean, I see Don Boozy and you don't even know who I'm talking about.
we know exactly who you're talking.
Okay,
about.
yes.
Come on.
Okay,
Come on,
good
it's a
Lord.
pacer, yeah.
Yeah.
No Rick Mount, but okay. I'll
No,
go
no,
with it. no.
he's way better than Rick Mount, but second best player to ever play at Evansville University too.
He's no
Jerry
Billy.
Sloan.
Oh yeah,
He's no Billy Keller. I'll just say that about Don Boozy.
no, he's better.
I think
than
he
Billy.
was Billy Keller.
He was a bigger Billy Keller, is a hell of a player now.
Yeah,
Don't get me
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
Billy Keller,
Better than my
hell-
boy Chico Vaughn.
Yeah,
Okay,
That's all I got. Anything else?
that's okay.
Anything
Well,
further, Father?
I got the W. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you guys. When he's so happy when he wins, it's all he
Well,
is.
okay. I mean, why play if you're not gonna be happy when you win? Jerry made the right choice for the fifth
Thank
out of
you,
7
Jerry.
times.
We'll see you Wednesday. Are we back?
Yeah,
you
Wednesday.
got to learn the schedule, man.
I think I'm learning
Okay,
it.
you're-
Yeah.
you're doing better
Well,
than
I
you did
just
before.
never know if somebody's got something else going on.
Well, that's
so
true.
We'll talk to you
There's
Wednesday.
a lot of people busy.
Well, I've been so worn out. I've had so many rants here today. It's
Yeah, I
taking
know.
You
its
have had a
toll.
lot of rants
Need
today.
some,
It's a
maybe,
ranty.
maybe I'll be better on Wednesday.
You okay, Coco? We'll see you next time.
Coco seems
on
fine.
The Old-Fashioned 3.
Thank you for joining the Old Fashioned 3 on Stones Radio Networks. To stay updated on the show, like and subscribe on YouTube, and all shows are available for download on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, and of course at stonesradionetworks.com. Follow the show and the gents on Twitter at OL, Fashioned, and the number 3, at Phantom Radio 60, and at Whitey Gleason. This has been a production of Stones Radio Networks.